welcome back to my channel. It's Irene, and in today's video we are reviewing a brand that's been popping up absolutely everywhere on my feed, on Instagram, Facebook, everywhere, and I've noticed its growth since like a year or two ago, and I've always found this brand really fishy personally because I saw that they had these really beautiful, cute ideas of designs and beautiful pictures, and their prices are really low. And a lot of the designs I recognize from other brands such as Cézanne, Reformation, Rouge, all these brands, even Gala Paris, and all these brands that I buy from. So I was like completely confused because some of them were identical, and I have this lemon dress that is from Reformation that I bought I think around 2019 for about 300 euros, and I saw on their website the same exact dress for 35 euros. I thought that could be a great opportunity to order that dress and do a comparison and review this brand called Rihoas for you. So this is my Reformation dress with the beautiful lemons, and the quality is absolutely amazing. The fabric, everything, it fits so well. Like, this is, every time I wear this dress I get compliments. There is no dress like this. Like, I love this so much. So already let's start with the obvious, the price difference, 10 times different. Like 300 euros to 35, that is a huge difference obviously, and we're gonna see that in the quality. And we all know what such a price might include. The 35 euros is the price of the fabric itself, not even if I tried to sew it myself. And let's think about the people who made this dress. What were they paid? This includes their marketing, their shipping, their, you know, all of that, and it's 35 euros. It's just insane to me. And also because this is a topic that is near and dear my heart, because I'm a sewist and I've made clothes from scratch, and it taught me just how much respect we need to carry for our clothes and those who make them. Sewing, I've tried so many activities in my life, but sewing has absolutely been the most labor intensive, skill intensive, like generally one of the most difficult things I've ever done. And so it breaks my heart to think about the people who have to mass produce clothes like this in God knows what conditions to just get paid scraps so we can wear stolen looking designs. And without further ado, let's see the difference. Alright, so let's compare the two dresses. This one is Reformation and this is Rihoas, and I've turned them first the inside out because that's when you can see all the construction details of the sewing and the quality. So alright, let's compare first the fabric. So as you can see, even the inner lining, both the original fabric, the outer fabric, and the inner lining have this beautiful sandy texture on the Reformation one, and that's really desirable. This is viscose. I believe this is polyester, and this one has way less of a nice feel, especially on the outside. It feels so thin and cheapish. Talking about the shirt area, here this feels really well made. Everything is extremely neat, and it's like it has a lot of little waves, whereas this one feels loose, and you know, it doesn't feel as compact either. And another detail that I've noticed is that here you see this is an overlocking stitch that they've added at the edges. They've taken this fabric, they've folded it backwards and overlocked it and sewed it like that, whereas here they took this fabric, they turned it a little bit inside, like they folded it, they did a tiny stitch, and they left it like that. So it's not just folded and sewn like that. It looks way prettier for that reason. The zipper itself seems much more higher quality on the Reformation one, but I think that that's literally the least of our issues right now. They're both still easy to open and close. Next, let's see another major difference is that here the zipper goes above the lining, so this will touch your body, whereas here it's hidden. They each have their advantages, of course, but I prefer this one because already the sewing details here, the little gathers, are much more neat. Generally everywhere on the dresses, the stitching of the Reformation one has much smaller, neater stitches, whereas these ones are like bunching up everywhere and the stitches look really bad quality. You can tell that this one was pressed as it was sewn, which is a very, very important thing, whereas this one it looks like a trash bin bag and it just feels off. And these gathers, if you compare it to these, it's just not the same. Here, because this went underneath, they did a very strange fold where I can put my finger through here and there's like a whole nest of things and there's this strange elastic going on. The strap of the Rihoas one is definitely thicker, which I think makes it look a bit clunkier. And again, the fabric difference is just incredible, and we're gonna see the print when I turn it inside out, but there's just a lot of things going on. Here, by the way, there's a top stitching on top of, like, the little edge stitching on top of this whole area, whereas here it's not secured, it's just very, very badly sewn. And here you can even see some, I believe, some basting stitches poking through right there, and like so many threads coming off. Even the fabric is fraying because it wasn't well finished. Look, all of that's not a good sign. There's no such thing here. Obviously, the Reformation one has been worn a million times, whereas this one is brand new. I'm gonna return that. Did you notice the big difference? Let me tell you what it is. The bust area on the outside has this shape, right? And it has this piecing, etc. And the lining on the inside has exactly the same shape, very neat, very beautiful. Whereas here we have already the shape is wonkier and like way less attractive to the eye. But in the front, on the right side of the dress, we have that stitch. However, in the back, we don't have the curve, just like in Reformation. The waistband of Rihoas has a weird pleats in the front, whereas the Reformation one doesn't need it. Alright, now let's compare the frills of the two dresses. This is Rihoas. I think you can tell from the transparent, plasticky looking fabric, whereas this is Reformation. It has this beautiful grainy fabric, and the finishes are not even nearly the same. The overlocking stitches here are much neater compared to here. And as you can see, just generally, it looks so much cleaner over there. Okay, now let's compare the bust areas of the outer dresses. This is Reformation, this is Rihoas, and obviously, again, the fabric, the print, the color, everything is different. This one has lots of detail, lots of shadowing, this just gorgeous, the colors are amazing. Whereas here, all of that depth is lost. It feels very sheer, and the colors are not as deep and as like bright, you know, and the lemons are bigger. Their configuration isn't as neat, you know. And another detail that really caught my eye is the way that the bust sits. Already, this dress is way bigger. They're both XS, but this one is way bigger. This one fits me perfectly. So the bust is so big, it doesn't even cup the boobs well, and the shape of the front here, it's sort of unattractive, it goes this way, whereas here it's sort of straight and it has this more delicate cut and looks better when worn as well. The frills here, they're not gathered. They're frilled, but they're not gathered. There are no little folds here, but this one has those tiny folds. It's much less elegant in my opinion, and the stitching on top, the underfold here, they folded it and they've sewn it over. It looks so clunky compared to here where you can't even see it. You can't even tell. The stitching here, if I do this, look, you can see between the stitches. That is a terrible sign, and this is gonna catch. So these are gonna pull and the fabric is gonna start having those weird lines of separation on them after a while, after a very short while. Whereas here, you can't even see the stitches. Look, I'm pulling way more than I did over there, and this is what you can see. And everything is perfectly aligned. Like these 4 corners, these are so hard to align in sewing. Here it's pretty well aligned, but you can see that it wasn't, especially on this side, you can see that it wasn't well ironed. There is a weird like fold over situation here, and also because the fabric is so sheer, you can see the seam underneath with the stitching and everything. All right, let's look at the frills. Here you see it's kind of delicate, you know, you don't see too many of those folds, and these folds are ironing folds actually. If I pull them apart, you can see that there's no stitching. There's just one little nick here, whereas here it's really gathered, which I think looks way less attractive. Now let's talk about the backs of the dresses again, but this is the outer back. So already we can tell that here there are delicate little gathers, right? They're not, they flow really nicely, they look good. Here they are very harsh and not symmetrical. Here there's way less compared to this side, the left side. The elasticized panels look very cheap compared to this one, where it just looks so neat. Okay, another major difference I noticed is that one, the strap here starts at the end of the panel, whereas here there's a little bit of a distance between the strap and this scrunched panel. And most importantly, the frills go all the way to the back in the Reformation, whereas here it stops on the side seam. And so it's empty here. And it also doesn't have this soft curve of the underarm area. It just goes pretty much straight, which is unflattering. Alright, so this was my review and honest comparison of the two dresses, one from Rihoas and the other from Reformation. I hope you enjoyed this video and I hope you got something out of it. Let me know your thoughts and comments down below, and if you haven't subscribed to my channel already, please make sure you do so. Thank you so much for watching. See you in the next video. Bye!